Counterpunch Media Live in 3, 2, 1.
Live from the Counterpunch Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy on IPMNation.com. If you're not going to Mortal Up, why not just stay in bed?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good morning, and thank you so very, very much for joining us here at IPMNation.com. Don't forget you're in. A little bit of technical difficulty, but that's always seems to be the case around here, doesn't it? Technical difficulty. Boy, if I had a dime for every time I was subject to that. But good morning and welcome to the 440th episode of the #1 rated All Natural Being and the Gong Heard round the world. Your snooze alarm's sworn enemy. Radio that sparks your smart. Broadcast that builds your strong and unleashes your legendary. Because make no mistake, I believe, as you know, that if you're here, you have a legend to let loose. And we're serving up the best thoughts in the history of human thinking. And I'm fired up to be your virtual hitchhiker, riding shotgun as you get ready to get out the door and start your day. So what do you say? Here's your chance to mortal up, to crush your can and your critics while you're at it. It's time. So let's go kick in some doors. And I'm told we're having a little bit of technical difficulty this morning over on Facebook. But then again, I guess if that's really true, then you're not seeing the post. And I apologize for that. Who knows what's going on now? You know how it is with these, with some of this. But thank you so very much for finding us here. And if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or iHeartRadio or Spreaker, or any of the other usual suspects, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Don't forget, I'll throw this up quickly. And it figures, you know what I mean, that we're having trouble on Facebook because I said, let's just have everyone pick your favorite low-life making headline this morning, but now I can't get any feedback because we don't have that. So, into every life a little rain must fall. But here we go. Don't forget, you can reach us 833-MIND-UPS, 833-646-3877. It's toll-free, but they want me to tell you that some standard fees may apply if you're hanging out and texting us. Some kind of texting fee may apply, but you're welcome to give us a holler either way, 833-646-3877, 833-MIND-UPS. And as I said, of course, this morning we had a poll running over on Facebook, if we're even broadcasting there, but we had a poll running on you get to pick your favorite low-life making headline, right? You get to pick and say, I think we should do this, or I think we should do that. And of course, that didn't happen. So what are you going to do, right? So let's just do this and then go, okay, and try this just to see, okay? Please stop all outputs, okay, before attempting to change. Okay, great. So we're stopping all outputs. So let's just do this. Hey, if you're hanging out on the radio with me, thank you very much this morning. So This is actually working now on Facebook. Sorry for the little glitch there, but welcome to the 440th episode. I'm darn glad to be here of All Natural Being. And we're talking this morning, who knows what that's all about. Server. Okay, so we're just going to go with this. Doesn't look like we're going to get an internet signal out of here this morning, so my apologies to the folks watching on other venues. But as I say all the time, we still have a radio show, so that is that. So this morning we were going to nominate, and people are most certainly still welcome to nominate your favorite lowlifes making headlines if you have one, because yesterday the response was so great that we thought, oh, you know what? Everyone wants to get a little something off their chest. So this would be the perfect way to do it. So I said, okay, great. Let's give it a shot and go from there. So if you have one, you're welcome to call me or text me here at the studio. Don't forget 833-646-3877, 833-MINDUPS. So, and here's a question that I want to throw out, because everyone talks all the time about what it takes to be happy. Everyone talks all the time about what it takes to feel fulfilled, what it takes to feel grounded. And you know by now, if you've been listening to the show, that All Natural Being is designed to say, you got it already. Everything you've ever truly needed, you've always had. Yes, thank you very much. I am sporting a new hat this morning. This is, you know what it is really? At this stage of the game, when the swelling gets to be the way it is, it's really like a Spanks for my head. Really. So I picked these hats because they're compression. And thank Ashley very much for running down this morning and bringing me another one. But I don't think she really likes this gray skull cap. But it's like Spanks, right? If you're familiar with Spanks, if you know what those are. If you're not, why would I out you, right? Why would I say anything about it? But my hats up until the neck surgery are like Spanks for my head. They keep the swelling kind of in check, and it keeps everything. I was just going to say everything firing on all cylinders, but if you've been listening to this show, who am I kidding, right? There isn't anything like that going on here. You know, what are you going to do? So in any event, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what we need to do in order to feel grounded, in order to feel like we truly are firing on all cylinders in life, right? That we truly are hitting it. And it's a lot simpler, I think, than most of us take time to understand. So for me, this concept of being grounded in the moment comes down to one word, and it's kind of a glitzy word, but then it boils down to something even simpler than that. And that word is novelty. Right? So what if you study, now there's some philosophy to this, granted, right? I absolutely agree with that. There's some philosophy to that. Okay, but there's also a little bit of science. It means just something different. So how can you do that? How can you get to the point where you say, okay, great, I want to have something different in my life? There doesn't have to be a grand plan. There doesn't have to be anything other than own your now. Anything other than magnify the moment, right? Anything other than simply saying, okay, great, what am I going to do to court novelty in my life? What am I going to do to have it set to such a degree that I'm able to experience whatever this particular moment in all of time has to offer? Now, you know, when you hear me all the time say, I don't believe in goals, I don't believe in hope, I don't believe in all these other things, that I'm confident that the fingerprints of providence exist in this particular moment in all of time. And because they do, then that sets us up to be in the perfect position to understand what's going down in this particular moment of all the time and how you and I can capitalize on that. All right, looks like we're up and running over on Facebook, so thank everybody very much for putting up with us here. Good morning to Lee Rowley. Thank you, sir. Hope everything's going well with the book. Looking forward to catching up when you can. Also, good morning to Heather. Heather, thank you so very much. Mitzi, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. A little late. We're about 10 minutes late getting here. You know, a little technical glitch, but I have to tell you that I had mentioned earlier about, it could very well be me, right? Every time I say there's a technical glitch, I mean, I'm the guy that's wearing Spanks for a hat, right? So I'm the guy that's always a couple of quarts low. So where am I going with a technical glitch? It's probably my fault. It is my fault. Whatever whatever happens. Who knows what happens? I haven't done anything different, but here we are. Thank you so very much. Ian, nice to see you. Ian, I think of you all the time, brother, as you know, but also with all the stuff going on now with, is it Brexit, is it not Brexit, this or that? And I had mentioned earlier in a post that I would love it for everyone here to, thank you, Mitzi, very much. Thank you very much. I would love people here in the thread to nominate your favorite low-life making headlines. And I have to tell you, it's one of those things in terms of pre-production, you don't need much. No, there's so much going on in the world. Let me say this. You know my theory of how much I love to have a spring cleaning. It is just after the first day of spring, not too long ago. I love to have spring cleaning here on my Facebook page, because I know it sounds a little arrogant, poof, 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 like the word novelty, right? Poof, 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 poof. Sounds a little arrogant, but I love to clean out my friends' feed here on Facebook so that I can welcome new friends, right? People that are into the message, people that don't want to be watered down, people that don't want to be smacked around by the big guy, whoever that big guy, or the big girl, whoever that big guy or big girl is, right? They don't want to be smacked around. So I love doing something that'll cause everyone to run, like someone hollering fire in a movie theater. Everyone runs for the door, hits the exit crash bars, and frees up some space here on Facebook for me to get some higher caliber folks in. And to date, at least this year, let me say, to date, the number one thing that I've done to clean out my spring cleaning, like your garage when it warms up here, right? You're cleaning out your garage. The number one thing that I've done this year so far is make a joke about Jesse. Is it Smollett? However it's pronounced, right? It's Jesse Smollett. You could absolutely say, oh, bro, you want to clean out some more space here on Facebook? Just make a joke about him. And yesterday, the state's attorney, I guess, tight with a friend of hers in the former administration, tight decides, oh, yeah, let's just drop all charges. And so I guess we could do a Low Life's Making Headlines. Anyone that has anything to do with that situation. That could be our morning's Low Life Making Headlines. But I had another one, and there's the one I'd like to kick around quickly, and it's this sense of, I've seen a couple different things where Meghan McCain is all worked up now because she said yesterday someone picked a fight with her, calling her a mental midget. Who am I to say, right? Yeah, well, what are you going to do with that one? But in any event, calling her a mental midget, and her response was back. And if you don't know, Meghan McCain is a host of The View, the talk show thing over there and somewhere. And they just spew out all kinds of, whatever their thought is of the day. Well, someone had something negative to say, and she fired back, oh, you were at my wedding. And then it comes where I saw a story about a bride. She said, well, I had 300 people at my wedding, and this clown, she called him a clown, this clown wore his dress uniform for the Marines. So she goes, it was my big day. All the attention was on this guy, and all the attention wasn't on me. So she asked the guy to leave her wedding, get out. You're a Marine, you got all these medals, tough luck, get out. I want to be able to, this is my day. So then it made me think, well, it's all about attention. Jesse Smollett, whatever it is. It's like Don Lemon. So I have a question for you. One of the anchors over on the Circus News Network, one of the anchors over there says it's not lemon, it's Lemon. So when I go to the mall to buy some, speaking of Spanks, when I go to the mall to buy some yoga tights, am I going to Lululemon? Is that how it's pronounced? I don't know. So if anyone has an idea as to how that name is pronounced, Lemon. I thought it was Lululemon. I didn't realize it was Lululemon. But in any event, it's all about attention, right? He wanted attention drawn to himself. The bride that asked the Marine to leave wanted attention drawn to herself. So what is this need for all the outside attention? What is this need for the committee vote? And I dare say, maybe some people disagree with me here in the thread, but if your big day, your big wedding, do you really care about anything other than the person that you're getting married to? I mean, isn't that kind of like a tag team of two when you're just announcing that it's going to be a tag team of two as you move forward? And now you're worried that somebody might be getting more attention than you at your wedding? What kind of egomaniac are you marrying, brother? Think about it. If a bride says, "Oh, get out of here," if a talk show host from the Spew says, "Oh, well, you were at my wedding," what are weddings turned out to be? Is it just some other? And I wish Henry were here to talk about the ego this morning. Is it just some other the funeral pyre built to the ego where everyone says, "Oh, it's all about me, me, me"? What about the tag team of two? What about just being so enamored with the moment at hand, with what you're doing right there, that you don't care what other, well, the Marines get more attention than I am. So in any event, that'll be our lowlifes making headlines for this morning, unless anyone else. Ian, if you have anyone. Heather, if you have anyone. Mitzi, for sure, if you have anyone. Lee, let me know, and we'll put them up for this morning's lowlifes making headlines. But like I said, this segment writes itself, right? And I need more attention. I need more attention, so I'm going to stage an attack. I need more attention. So I'm going to ask the Marine to leave my wedding. I need more attention. So I'm going to remind someone that attacks me on BirdScat, attacks me on Twitter that they were at my wedding. What has happened to people? All right, so let's get into it this morning. We're going to do this real quick, and we will be right back. Oh, Doug Harmon, I got to congratulate him on his big trip. Be right back.
Now that you're up and the day is coming, we're dedicated to deciphering the writing on your wall.
Oh, I like that. Dedicated to deciphering the writing on your wall. Well, let's make that happen. So here's the writing on the wall when it comes to novelty, when it comes to you and I being able to explore this particular moment in all of time and what happens to make that happen. So novelty, we now know, it's not a philosophy, it's an actual physiology of how the brain works. It's trying something new, right? Because the brain digs the new. The brain digs adventure. The brain digs... Right, like they say now, you ever have the thing where you're driving around your car and you're sitting on your wallet? Can't think of a better lowlife to lambast. Well, thank you, Lee, very much. I'm with you. And again, it's a dual thing, right? I'm a Gemini, two guys, Janus, the god of two brains, two minds. I barely have a full mind. Here I am bragging about having two minds. Yeah, I got something on my mind. We're doing a two thing here. So please feel free, if you don't like it, that I made fun of Jesse Smollett, whatever, however he does it. Or you're offended because I said Lemon should be pronounced lemon, right? Just like Lululemon. That's all I'm saying. Please feel free to hit the unfriend button and join a lot of really, I'm assuming good folks that have decided to leave the thread, because I'd like to open it up for people that I really dig. And you know what? You're not one of them. So, all right. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, what I wanted to talk about today was this sense of novelty, right? Not just philosophically, but physiologically. Your brain digs anything new. You ever been driving around in your car and you're sitting on your house keys, or sitting on your wallet, or sitting on something you got, and you kind of feel it, it's uncomfortable, but then after a while, you don't even feel it anymore, right? You have like an occupational blindness, so to speak, where you're so accustomed to it that the brain doesn't even accept the signal anymore. It just goes, yeah, I'm sitting on it, but so what? And then you move a little bit and you go, wow, what was that? Oh, that's right. It's the pain in the butt from sitting on my extra set of car keys. Well, what happens is within our own brains, if we do something, it becomes rote. If we do it through repetition, the brain barely gets involved. It's yes, muscle memory, but we know that there's not a lot of mind in your muscle, but there's muscle memory, so the brain just goes through like an automatic pilot. But the key to being happy, the key to being successful, the key to putting your heart's highest priority top of the list is that you experience the novelty of the now. This particular moment in all of time. What's the combination lock, right? What's the Rubik's Cube? What is the universe? What is Providence trying to say to you in this particular moment in all of time? Because your brain's waiting for you to explore the now. Now, it's not all that challenging, really. I think I said yesterday, you got to own the now. Own the now. And when you do that, what kind of cool thing is waiting for you to discover? What kind of cool thing is waiting? If you're an investigator, if you're a detective, and you're looking at this particular moment and all the time, I had here somewhere a magnifying glass at one point, and then I had, when we switched the studio around, who knows where all my toys are now, but right, if you took a magnifying glass to the moment and going, okay, let me see, what are those fingerprints of providence? Well, that's immersing your brain in novelty. That's immersing your brain in change. And doctors and philosophers alike both tell us now that if you do that, like, let's say you're driving to work, and every day you drive to work the same way. You get to work and you go, Brian, I get your amnesia. I don't even remember leaving the house and getting to the work. That's because your brain's operating on autopilot. So one of the things that you could do is you could say, oh, here's something brand new. I'm going to unfriend Brian on Facebook. Oh, that would be great. Thank you very much for leaving and creating more room. I super appreciate it. All the best. Don't let the screen door catch you in the tuchus on the way out. And yes, Lee, I got a chance to say tuchus this morning. I know there was some question as to whether I would get that in, but there you go, tuchus. So, right, but what if you decided to drive to work a different way? Or what if you get up every morning, the first thing you do is hit the snooze alarm. Second thing you do is grab the toothbrush. Third thing you do is whatever you do following the toothbrush. But what if today were the day that you switched it all up? That if you did something, you'll laugh, but for me, especially with the tumor on the right-hand side, I started becoming a lefty, a southpaw, right? And so after years and years and years of brushing my teeth with my right hand, I switched to my left hand. And I taught myself to brush with my left hand because I wanted all of the nerves firing on the right-hand side of my brain because, as you know, the split, right? The right hand controls the left side, which is why I had all the tingly feeling down my left arm, right? So then I became a southpaw, and I wanted to use my left hand to hunt and peck. I call it typing, right? But it's hunting and pecking. My left hand to do that. And then to brush my teeth, or, back in the day when I had hair, and even I never even combed it really, but just running my left hand through my hair, doing that kind of thing, right? So that in and of itself caused my brain to go, whoa, time out, wait a minute, what is going on here? I'm not a lefty. What are we doing? Opening the door with the left hand. What are we doing? Answering the phone with the left hand. What are we doing? So for me, it was a way of training the hole in my head, right? The right side of my brain to go, hey, look, we're going to have to get into this because he's going to now be a lefty. What are we going to do? How about what it would do for your brain if you did something totally different? And all I'm asking for when we talk about 20-minute victories, when we talk about magnifying the moment, when we talk about owning your now, is to give me 1/72 of your day, a 20-minute victory to go, just do it differently. Right? Just court novelty, court something that your brain thrives on. And doctors now tell us, think about the ultimate health of your brain came when you were a little kid and everything was new to you. Everything was novelty. But then you and I get a little bit older, some older than others, but we get a little bit older and we're like, oh yeah, been there, done that, I know that. And then your brain goes on autopilot, and then like everything seems mundane, everything seems boring, everything seems rote, seems mechanical, seems rehearsed. But what if we looked at, for the next 20 minutes, a 20-minute victory, what if we looked at the impromptu of it all? What if we looked at cognition? The way we think and go, great, I'm open, I'm in, I'm buying, I'm all ears. What do you got, right? I'm looking like a cab driving down the street with both doors open. I'm all ears. What do you got for me? And it's my contention that the divine, that the fingerprints of providence, that the universe itself will go, whoa, now that you're paying attention, you've got this, or you've got that, or you could do this, or you could do that. It might be going to a bookstore that you haven't been to in years. Might be picking up a newspaper. Might be listening to a new form of music. Might be eating a different food, a different fruit, a different this and that. I had the opportunity the other day to go here where I live in how I'm out of here, Ohio, where I live in Ohio, and go to a place called Clean Juice, and it's 100% organic. They get all of their fruit and vegetables and everything from Whole Paycheck, Whole Foods. They get all of this. So it's 100% organic. And I went and ended up going to Clean Juice, and I absolutely loved it. We'll have some cucumbers and some this and that and mix it in with this and that and everything else. So it was just fantastic for me. But it's not also that it tasted fantastic. It was something different that I've done that caused my brain to go, whoa, wait a minute, what is this? Let me say, need to run. See you tomorrow. Brian, Ian, thank you so very much for joining us and hanging out. Don't forget, you can hit the QR code if you're on your way out and about the door, although I should check that to make sure that works across the pond, as they say. But there you go. There's a QR code if you want to hit it and take it with you. But Ian, thank you so very much. I super appreciate it. All right, so here's what we're talking about this morning. We're talking about novelty. We're talking about change. We're talking about doing something different and what that means to the human mind, what it means to the human heart. And maybe if it's been a lot of years since you put your heart's highest priority top of the list, maybe if it's been a lot of years since you've done anything for yourself. Good morning, Sarah. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about novelty. We're talking about change. We're talking about just doing something different in your daily routine. And doctors and philosophers and psychiatrists, psychologists, all of them now are on this bandwagon going, look, your brain was healthy. Your mind was healthy when you were little. Because everything was new to you. Everything was nuance. Everything was novelty. You go, oh, that looks like a tasty clump of dirt. And you'd go, oh, well, I just ate some dirt. I didn't know you couldn't eat dirt. Well, what's that? Well, there you go. I'm not a fan of dirt, I got to tell you, right? But your mind was a fan of the experience. Your mind was a fan of doing something different. Your mind was a fan of the novelty. So I'm here to suggest that for a 20-minute victory today, do something different. It's that very simple. No meditation, no this, no all these other extraneous things that people come up with, right? To say, oh, you got to do this if you want to be grounded. Well, I'm suggesting you want to be grounded in the now. Own your now. Magnify the moment and attempt to discern what it is that the universe, what clues, we talk about cognitive cairns, right? When you stack up those rocks, what clues are the universe offering to you to be able to say, this is a path that you may want to think of. This is something that you may want to do differently. Never can tell. That could very well be it. So this morning, as we get ready to wrap, think about the novelty of the now. Think about doing something different. And it will not only be great for your brain, it'll be great for your mind. And it's like if you had an operating manual for the human brain, you'd go, yeah, it would say on page 1, always do something different. Always give the brain, right? You ever get hungry? You're like, oh yeah, I gotta head to Taco Bell, right? Because those sugar-covered little twizzly things are just the deal. Or you go, oh yeah, I gotta head over for a breakfast sandwich, or now clean juice, and you go, oh, my stomach's growling, I'm hankering, right? I have a craving for something. Well, your mind craves nuance. Your mind craves novelty. So just like you give in to your gut, right? Let's give in to our gray matter, and let's be open to the novelty. Let's be open to the moment at hand and see if it doesn't put a smile, if it doesn't put our heart's highest priority top of the list, if like that Rubik's Cube that I mentioned, if it doesn't, where you and the universe seem to dovetail together. Carl Jung would call it synchronicity, or Adler, or Freud, or any of the greatest psychologists or psychiatrists, right? This particular moment in all of time, what if it really does hold the steps, the clues, the tips, the tricks, the techniques for you being ultimately happy? And my suggestion is, when you're firing on all levels, when your bandwidth is just locked in to this particular moment in all of time, then you are in fact doing that. You're giving in to the growling of your brain. No more hungry ghosts, as we've talked about before. We're giving in to the moment at hand. All right, we'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning. Health willing. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning. Have an absolutely fantastic day. For the folks over on Facebook and YouTube or Twitter, sorry about the glitches there in the very beginning, but we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Until that time, have an absolutely fantastic day.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.